Today's challenge is called the Poly Party Challenge. The goal is to make a song entirely out of polyrhythms and polymeters. So here are the rules. The drum pattern must be a single polyrhythm. It can have as many layers as you want, but it has to be a single polyrhythm. Each note in the polyrhythm must stay in its place in time, but can have any length and can be any sound in the drum kit. So they don't all have to be one sound. The remaining instruments have to be made from polymeters. This means that they have the same note length but different pattern lengths, and so the pattern will evolve over time, just based on them being out of sync with each other. So the rules for those is that they just have to be a straight up polymeter. They can't have additional notes, they can't have notes removed, anything like that. To keep the polyrhythm straight, I came up with a scheme where I have one track for each part of the polyrhythm. So you can see this one has 4 notes, this one has 2 notes, this one has 3 notes, and this one has 12 notes. And those patterns stay by themselves. So when I was editing them, I would actually pull them up as multiple layers. As you can see here, and it's still kind of tricky. It was actually a little bit difficult, but once everything was in place, you could kind of just move them around. And then I have this main kit. So you can see for the tracks with the patterns on them, they don't actually have an output. They really just exist to transmit MIDI notes. And then this kit right here, it has note receivers, one for each one of these patterns. And then the note receiver comes in and actually plays the sound. So you can hear all the notes together when you play, and they're actually playing through this kit track. You can also disable each individual thing. So this is the 4-note pattern. This is the 2-note pattern. This is the 3-note pattern. And this is the 12-note pattern. And then all together, so it actually comes out pretty cool. Doesn't sound like there's anything weird and polyrhythmic going on, but it does kind of set the tone of the entire drum beat, which I think, yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So that basically just repeats in the first and the second part. I did do these one challenge each day, so I didn't have a whole ton of time to just go wild with these. So there's the drums. For the polymeters, I just grouped them into 2 different pairs of instruments just to keep things simple. So they're not polymetric with respect to all 4 of them, but each pair is with each other. So they have the same note length for each note, but the pattern lengths are different. So the first one sounds like this. We have the bass notes, really simple. So you can see this goes 2 notes for each. Originally, these actually had different lengths, the bass and the rhythm, and I realized I was not following the rules there, but I didn't want the bass line to be too complicated, so I just split the notes into 2. And then for the rhythm, it sounds like this. Really simple. And then together again. So it's really cool because you can see just barely that the pattern lines don't match up very often. So the pair of the instruments together makes an evolving pattern over time that doesn't really repeat very often. And yeah, it's a good way to get started quickly. Let's hear it together with the drums. Yeah, pretty cool. The second polymeter is a little bit more atmospheric. See, I call them sparkles and pad. They sound like, the sparkles sound like this. And the pad sounds like this. It's very mushy. So was really taking advantage, just advantage of different ways I can make the sounds go in this, so it doesn't sound like a whole bunch of notes playing together. You know, they're the same length note, they trigger at the same time, and so I think it could be obvious that you just have these notes playing, and so I wanted to kind of smush this stuff out. So the whole thing all together sounds like this. And then I just had the patterns come in and out over time. So this was the patterns. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. This was the first one that I did, the first challenge. I did 5 challenges in 5 days, so it was quite a bit. Let's just look at the sounds really quick. The bass sound is really simple. It's just square wave. I don't think there's any effects on it. And it just has a normal filter pluck. This rhythm sound is just another basic pluck. It's got a couple different oscillators and a little bit of slow pulse width modulation. And then I have some delay and reverb. Just to make the song a little busier. The sparkle sound, another simple pluck. The FX off. And just some reverb on top of it. And then I added Saturn, which is just a little bit of saturation. And I just saturated some of the low end. So you get more high frequency content, but you don't get tons of high frequency content. Finally, this pad sound. This one's a lot more complex. Let's see. If I turn off... With all the effects off, including the external effects, sounds like this. So I got some FM going on here, and the FM is being modulated by a slow FO. It's, you know, behind all that, it's just another kind of plucky sound, but it also has a bandpass filter sweep on it, so it's already feels a little bit less plucky. With the effects, I have a compressor, a little bit of distortion, and an echo. So the compressor just kind of smooths out the transients a bit. Distortion just makes it a little bit meatier. And then the echo. I did a little bit of EQ just to get rid of this annoying frequency that only comes in some notes, so it's actually dynamic EQ. You can see it bouncing. A little bit more saturation from Saturn. Just tiny bit of this warm tape preset. And then I added Valhalla Supermassive on the end. This really just smushes it all out into like a big texture instead of another plucky sound. So ended up sounding really cool. I like this, and the patterns once again don't match up, and so they everything just kind of blurs into this big thing that sounds both random and structured. It's fun. And then yeah, let's listen to the whole thing one more time. And that's the Poly Party Challenge. You can watch the entire video of me making this. There'll be a link in the description. I released all 5 of the songs I made for these first challenges in an album called Challenge Beast Volume 1. It's on everything. That link will be in the description too. And yeah, stay tuned for more of these. I got a bunch of stuff recorded already, and I'd like to do one of these every month or so going forward. So peace out.